If you see a text message land on your lock screen, read it instantly, and then deliberately wait exactly 3 hours to reply just to look not desperate, congratulations. You are officially an active participant in a massive, hyper-anxious psychological experiment. Think about your last 24 hours. Think about that exact moment you felt your pocket buzz, pulled out your phone, saw a name pop up, and felt a sudden, fleeting flash of microscopic dread. You didn't answer right away. Instead, you put the phone face down on the table. You went back to whatever you were doing, but a tiny, invisible percentage of your brain remained completely hijacked by a floating green bubble. You started calculating the timeline. If I reply right now, do I look like I have no life? If I wait until tomorrow, am I being passive-aggressive? Welcome to the 24/7 availability trap. We have reached a truly bizarre point in human history where when you reply to someone matters significantly more than what you actually say. We've managed to turn digital text, the lowest stakes form of communication ever invented, into a source of genuine daily existential anxiety. We are currently living through a silent war over digital boundaries, and it has split modern society into two fiercely defensive camps. On one side, you have the people who demand instant access, because, let's face it, your phone is literally in your hand right now. On the other side, you have a growing rebellion of people fighting for the basic human right to go completely off-grid without instantly being labeled a bad friend, a terrible sibling, or a flaky partner.
So let's step back and look at this objectively. Is modern text etiquette actually ruining our relationships, or are we just using a broken system to communicate? To figure that out, we have to put both sides on trial. Look at the literal evolutionary biology of our brains and find the exact point where efficiency turned into exhaustion. Let's start with Camp A, the instant access crowd. To understand their perspective, we have to look past the superficial anger and look at the brutal, undeniable logistics of modern life. Their core argument can be summed up in a single painful phrase. Your phone is literally in your hand. And mathematically speaking, they are completely right. Let's do a quick reality check on your own habits. Statistics show that the average smartphone user checks their screen roughly 144 times a day. We check it the physical second we wake up. We check it while standing in line for coffee. We check it at red lights. We check it while actively watching a movie on a completely different, larger screen. Heck, a massive percentage of the population is reading texts while sitting on the toilet. So when Camp A sends you a message and sees that you haven't responded for 6 hours, their brain does some basic logic processing. They know you haven't been lost in a cave without signal all day. They know you haven't been staring blankly at a wall for 6 hours. They know with absolute statistical certainty that you have looked at your screen at least 40 times since they hit send. To the instant access crowd, a text message isn't a letter dropped in a mailbox. It's a digital tap on the shoulder. Imagine walking up to a friend in real life, tapping them on the shoulder, asking them a simple question like, "Hey, what time are we meeting tonight?" And having that friend look you dead in the eye, turn around and walk away in total silence for 4 hours before turning back around to say, "Cool, see you at 7.
You would think that person was a psychopath. You would think they were actively trying to insult you. This is why delayed texting triggers so much interpersonal friction. To the sender, a long delay isn't a sign that you are busy or practicing healthy wellness boundaries. It feels like a micro-rejection. It communicates a very specific silent hierarchy. It screams, "I saw your attempt to connect with me, I processed it, and I actively chose to relegate you to the absolute bottom of my priority list while I continue to scroll through short-form videos of strangers cooking giant blocks of cheese." For Camp A, instant texting isn't about being clingy. It's about basic respect and maintaining social momentum. When you kill the momentum of a text chain, you kill the digital equivalent of a fluid conversation. But now, let's turn the tables completely. Let's look at Camp B, the ghost protesters. If you are someone who currently has 47 unread text notifications sitting on your phone right now, this is your defense attorney speaking. The counterargument for Camp B is rooted in fundamental human neurology. Just because modern technology allows a human being to reach into your pocket, vibrate your thigh, and demand your attention at 11:42 p.m. on a Tuesday evening does not mean the human brain is psychologically, evolutionarily equipped to handle it.
Think about how communication used to work for thousands of years. If you wanted to talk to someone, you had to physically walk to their house. Later, you had to write a letter and wait weeks. Even with landline phones, if you left your house, you were completely unreachable. You were just out in the world, living your life. You had periods of forced mental solitude where your brain could process your own thoughts without outside interference. Today, that solitude is completely dead. We have accidentally signed up for a reality where we are permanently plugged into a non-stop, endless matrix of low-stakes micro-decisions. Every text message you receive, no matter how casual, is a task. It is a tiny incoming request for your cognitive energy. What do you want for dinner? That requires a decision. Did you see what happened in the news? That requires an emotional reaction. Are we still on for Friday? That requires scheduling logistics. When you have 20 different threads running simultaneously with friends, family, coworkers, and group chats, your brain is effectively running an unpaid 24-hour customer service help desk. And frankly, none of us signed up for this shift. Camp B argues that demanding instant access fundamentally destroys our ability to focus, to rest, and to engage with the physical world right in front of us. If you are constantly responding to the digital world inside your pocket, you are never truly present in the room you are standing in. To this crowd, chronic ghosting or delayed replying isn't an act of malice. It's a desperate act of psychological self-defense. It is a declaration that says, my peace of mind matters more than your immediate desire for an answer. So we have two completely logical sides that are fundamentally incompatible. Why does this cause so much genuine emotional damage? Why do we get so angry when someone doesn't text us back? And why do we feel so guilty when we don't text someone else? To understand this clarity, we have to look at how text communication interacts with ancient human psychology. When you talk to someone face-to-face, or even over a voice call, your brain is processing a massive web of data. You are reading facial expressions, analyzing tone of voice, calculating micropauses, and observing body language. In fact, behavioral psychologists state that up to 93% of all human communication is completely nonverbal. 93% literally sounds absurd, meaning that the actual words we say are just a tiny fraction of the message. When you send a text message, you are stripping away 93% of that data pool. You are reducing a complex, nuanced human relationship down to cold, static pixels on a glowing screen. And here is where the evolutionary glitch happens. When the human brain is presented with a complete lack of data, like a text message left on red for 9 hours, it hates the silence. It experiences cognitive discomfort. To fix this, your brain's evolutionary threat detection system kicks in. It automatically fills the data void by assuming the absolute worst possible scenario. If a friend doesn't reply to a casual question, your brain doesn't naturally think, oh, they probably dropped their phone under the car seat while driving to pick up their groceries. No, your brain tells you they are mad at me. I said something wrong. Our friendship is deteriorating and they are secretly venting about me to someone else right now. We project our deepest insecurities into the silent gaps between text messages. The medium itself manufactures paranoia. But what about the toll on the person who is trying to keep up with the etiquette? What happens to your brain if you actually try to be the perfect instant replier that Camp A wants you to be? Science has a very clear, terrifying answer for this, and it's called cognitive switching penalty. Every time you are deep in a state of flow, whether you are working, writing, reading, studying, or even just having a deep conversation with a person sitting across from you,
Your brain builds a complex mental architecture around that task. When your phone buzzes and you pick it up to reply to a text, your brain is forced to instantly shatter that architecture and switch gears to a completely different context. Studies in cognitive psychology show that it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to deep focus back on a task after a single minor interruption. Even if your text reply only took you 4 seconds to type, your brain pays a massive cognitive tax to pick up where it left off. If you are checking your phone 144 times a day, you are living in a permanent state of fragmented attention. You're essentially giving yourself artificial ADHD. Your thoughts never reach full depth because they are constantly being sliced into tiny pieces by incoming alerts. The data is clear. Trying to maintain a standard of perfect instant availability literally destroys your productivity, tanks your memory retention, and spikes your baseline cortisol levels, the primary hormone responsible for stress. The etiquette isn't just ruining our friendships, it's actively frying our nervous systems.
So, how do we resolve this problem without everyone deleting their messaging apps and moving to a cabin in the woods? Who is actually wrong here? The factual conclusion is simple, but it requires us to completely reframe how we view technology. The etiquette isn't ruining us. The medium is. Our fundamental mistake is that we are treating text messages like synchronous communication, meaning a live, real-time conversation like a phone call or a face-to-face chat. But text messages were never designed for that. They were engineered to be asynchronous, meaning the sender transmits information when it's convenient for them, and the receiver processes and replies to that information when it is convenient for them. It is modern-day email. It is modern-day letter writing. When you expect an immediate response to a text message, you are breaking the functional rules of the medium itself. You are turning an asynchronous tool into a demanding real-time cage. If we want to fix this availability trap, we have to establish a brand new set of transparent digital rules that protect both social connection and personal mental health. Rule number 1, reclaim the phone call for urgency. We need to remove the burden of urgency from text messages completely. If something requires an immediate answer within the next 30 minutes, you do not text it. You call the person. If it's not important enough to warrant a direct voice call, it is not important enough to demand an immediate text reply.
Rule number 2, normalize the slow text. We have to collectively stop treating a delayed reply as an insult. We need to create a culture where letting a message marinate for 4 hours simply means the other person is deep in their life, doing their work, or protecting their peace, and that is a good thing. Rule number 3, explicit status communication. If you know you are entering a heavy week or just need a mental health break, communicate that explicitly beforehand. A simple text like, "Hey, I'm going into a deep work cave for the next few days, so I'm going to be incredibly slow on my phone," completely removes the data void. It prevents the other person's brain from filling the silence with paranoia. At the end of the day, technology should expand our freedom, not contract it. It should make it easier to connect with the people we love, not turn those people into a source of constant looming guilt on our lock screens. Let's settle this directly in the comment section. Which camp do you honestly belong to? Are you a member of the instant access crowd who gets genuinely anxious when a thread goes cold? Or are you a ghost protester who routinely lets messages marinate for 3 business days before remembering to reply? Let me know your stance below, and be honest about the psychological games you play with your response times. If you're ready to start escaping the availability trap, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on this video, and let your texts breathe.